Welcome back to The Explainer. But today, we are completely ripping up the traditional classroom rulebook. We are not just looking at a whiteboard. You have just stepped onto a sleek, ultra-modern corporate pitch stage here in Silicon Valley, and I am stepping in as your managing director. Today, we are hosting the ultimate exam pitch competition, and our target is the Cambridge AS and A-Level Mathematics 9709 syllabus. Specifically, we are looking to secure a massive valuation on two highly volatile, incredibly lucrative mathematical assets. The trigonometric identities sec2theta is identical to 1 plus tan squared theta, and cosec2theta is identical to 1 plus cot squared theta. Right now, floating over my shoulder, you should see our live grade valuation meter. It is currently sitting at $0, representing that baseline ungraded mark. But by the end of this pitch, we are mapping exactly how to scale that meter all the way up to a $1 million top-tier A-star valuation. We are also tracking a real-time market risk chart that monitors our assessment objectives AO1, AO2, and AO3, along with some very strict digital countdown clocks. If you have ever felt like you were just blindly memorizing formulas without a clear monetization strategy for your final grade, this explainer is going to completely rewire your approach. We are treating your exam paper like a venture capital pitch, and every single mark is funding you need to secure. Let's get right to work.
Okay, let's dive into the stakes of today's pitch. Look at this quote from a senior examiner, who basically acts as our lead investor on the valuation board. They state plainly that the difference between a B and an A star in mathematics often comes down to how well you understand trigonometry identities. In the startup world, that is the difference between a failing minimum viable product and a billion-dollar unicorn. To understand how candidates mess this up, let's look at two hypothetical founders pitching to the board today. First, we have Alex. Alex is our highly technical developer. Alex overloads the slide deck with raw code, infrastructure data, basically memorizing every textbook fact, but totally lacks a clear business monetization strategy. Alex has no evaluative framework. Then we have founder 2, Sam. Sam is a highly charismatic marketer who delivers incredibly persuasive narrative pitches, but Sam has zero data backing those assets up. Sam completely misses the command word constraints and just writes generic descriptive paragraphs. Both Alex and Sam are currently failing to secure their Series A funding. Our job today is to fix their pitches, merge their skills, and secure that maximum grade valuation.
Here is the exact agenda for today's pitch deck. 1. Core principles. 2. The method mark strategy. 3. Top 3 examiner warnings. And 4. Critical evaluation.
Section 1. Core principles.
And this brilliantly illustrates exactly where Alex and Sam are drifting with their MVP pitches. Let's project a high-tariff, multi-part Cambridge past paper question on the digital screen right now. Consider this our official market opportunity brief. When the examiners release this brief, they are looking for specific assessment objectives, or AOs. Let's break this down. Alex walks onto the stage and pitches superficial breadth. Alex says, hey, sec2theta is identical to 1 plus tan squared theta, and expects $1 million. That is just basic data classification. That's maybe hitting AO1, the most basic knowledge recall. The valuation meter barely moves. Then Sam walks up and pitches trigonometry is vital for understanding geometric spaces and evaluating variables, but provides absolutely zero mathematical proof or step-by-step logic. That completely ignores the command words in the brief. You have to decode these command words. If the brief says analyze, you need to deconstruct the mathematical relationships. If it says evaluate, you need to provide a conclusive, justified judgment on the value or success of the mathematical model. You cannot present a descriptive, superficial pitch when the board explicitly requested an evaluative framework. The moment you do that, your valuation margin instantly collapses. The board wants analytical depth. They want you to prove that your mathematical architecture is robust enough to handle complex multivariable pressure.
So how do we actually build that theoretical architecture to secure the funding? Principal examiner reports give us the exact blueprint for what the top 1% of candidates do. The architecture requires 3 things. First, precise definitions. You need to know the exact parameters of your identities. Second, causal relationships. If you manipulate one side of the identity, you need to prove exactly why the other side reacts. But the third piece is the absolute game changer. It is cross-topic connections. Examiners explicitly state in their post-market reports that candidates who reference cross-topic connections achieve significantly higher marks. This means you aren't just looking at cosec2theta as an isolated trig rule. You are showing the board how it seamlessly integrates with calculus, how it applies to complex algebra, or how it maps onto coordinate geometry. You are showing them an entire, scalable ecosystem, not just a single, isolated product. That cross-topic integration is what makes your pitch undeniably valuable.
Section 2. The method mark strategy.
Now we are entering Act 2. We are shifting the energy to the tactical phase. Let's transition over to the tech war room. We have Alex and Sam in there right now, and the simulated countdown clock is flashing red. They have to merge their respective assets to pitch an unassailable model response to the board. They are furiously challenging each other's presentation logic. Alex is slamming the whiteboard, wanting to focus entirely on deep textbook definition dumps. "We just need more data," Alex argues, but Sam is fighting back, realizing that raw data doesn't score the big bucks. Sam wants to build a direct analytical thesis string to lock in the top band marks before their funding clock expires. To resolve this, they adopt a chronological processing pipeline to systematically capture what Cambridge calls method marks. Step 1. Identify key elements of the brief. Step 2. Apply the relevant principles. Decide if sec2theta is actually the right tool for this specific market gap. Step 3. Execute the analysis. This is where Alex's raw coding skills shine. Step 4. Verify the results. Sam steps in here to check if the data actually supports the overarching narrative. Step 5. Present the format. They track their metric progress on screen live, aligning every single step with the strict parameters of the mark scheme. This sequence is how you ensure zero capital is leaked during the execution phase.
But as Sam correctly points out in the war room, even if the underlying code is flawless, the UI, the user interface of your exam paper, has to be pristine. In our world, that means strict presentation conventions. We're talking proper headings, correct terminology, appropriate formats, and incredibly clear annotation. If an examiner cannot instantly read your logic flow, they are not going to invest their time hunting for your method marks. Your format is your first impression. If you don't adhere to these conventions, you are taking an incredibly high-value product and packaging it in a garbage bag. Protect your score by presenting your data professionally.
Section 3. Top 3 Examiner Warnings. Valuation pause. We are freezing the presentation deck right here. Before we unlock this top-band paragraph architecture to scale your final grades, we need to optimize your educational asset flow. Take a second right now to subscribe to Ace the Exams at Ace the Exams and turn on all notifications so you never miss our weekly high-yield strategy drops. Whether you are hacking exams at IGCSE, O-levels, or AS and A-levels, make sure you hit that bell icon. Okay, back to the pitch. We are looking at a provocative question. Why do perfectly smart candidates who understand the math completely lose their valuation margin and bleed easy marks? Let's look at the market risk data.
Right as Alex and Sam step back onto the stage, they hit an unexpected system bug mid-paragraph. Their evidence links drop out, threatening a total valuation crash. The meter is tanking. Why? Because of these top 3 examiner warnings. 1. Forgetting proper format. 2. Forgetting to check presentation. 3. Answers not specific to the context. To fix this catastrophic system bug, I am stepping in as director to hand them a structural optimization matrix. We call it the PEAL structure. Point, evidence, evaluation, link. You make your mathematical point. You back it up with evidence, which is your identity manipulation. You evaluate why this works, and you link it right back to the specific context of the question brief. Alex and Sam immediately start rewriting their text out loud, line by line, injecting the PEAL matrix to create a perfectly balanced, high-scoring block of logic. The crash is averted.
So the crucial point in that rewrite was eliminating terminology confusion. This is a massive, flashing red alert on our risk chart. The examiners specifically flagged that candidates fail to define their terms before deploying them in extended responses. If you are substituting cosec2theta into a complex proof, you must define the parameters and state the identity clearly before you just start hacking away at the algebra. Don't assume the board knows your strategy. State your terms, document your code. That is how you maintain investor confidence.
Section 4. Critical Evaluation. Let's move to Act 4 and hand the controls over to you. It is time for a live, interactive viewer venture audit. Challenge number 1, the rapid market scan. Imagine I am displaying a highly complex, multi-layered trigonometric proof right here on the screen. A 60-second visual countdown timer is ticking down. You need to isolate the single highest value core trend before the display resets. Do you just start solving blindly? No. You deconstruct to identify the given information. Then you break it into actionable steps. That is the solve phase. But the final layer, the one that secures the top-tier valuation, is evaluate. You must look at the data and justify your mathematical recommendations. That is how you win the rapid market scan.
Now for Challenge 2, identify the compliance liability. I am pulling up a flawed, medium-tier sample student response paragraph on the board. Where is the exact line where the logic drops the overall score? I'll use my laser pointer right here. Look at this section. The student performed the calculation perfectly, but they failed to evaluate the evidence. Elite analytical valuation requires identifying the limitations of your model. It requires noting any mathematical assumptions you made. It means providing alternative interpretations and, critically, measuring how those choices actually affect the final conclusions of the proof. The compliance liability in this student's answer was treating the math as a robotic exercise rather than a logical argument. They missed the Series A funding entirely.
We are now in Act 5. The Series A funding is nearly completed. Alex and Sam have perfectly integrated their technical data and narrative strategy. They deliver their newly engineered response paragraph, and we watch the grade valuation meter surge, peaking at the absolute maximum $1 million A-star score. The board is thrilled. To make sure you can replicate this exact success, I am going to distill this entire session into 3 universal rules for your next exam. Rule number 1, the 3-step question scan. This is your decoding phase where you isolate the command words. Rule number 2, the scale budget allocation. This is your timing strategy, matching your effort precisely to the marks available. And rule number 3, the final quality review checklist. Before you hand over your pitch, you verify every single annotation and format convention. To lock this in under extreme countdown conditions, use this memory hack. Create a mnemonic using the first letters of those core processing steps we talked about earlier. Identify, apply, execute, verify, present. Build your own mental triggers so you can deploy this framework instantly.
You now have the exact architectural blueprint to walk into any Cambridge Math 9709 exam and command the absolute highest valuation for your trigonometry answers. You know the tech, you know the strategy, and you know exactly what the valuation board is looking for. But knowing the pitch isn't enough. You have to run the simulations. You need to subscribe, practice past paper questions, and literally run these frameworks against the clock. So here is your final task. Hit that subscribe button for Ace the Exams at Ace the Exams. Click the notification bell so you don't miss our weekly grade masterclasses. And right now, drop a comment below telling us exactly which Cambridge subject and level, whether that is IGCSE, O, AS, or A level, you are preparing to conquer next. The market is open, your evaluation is in your hands. Go execute, and we will see you in the next masterclass.